AC not cooling. Got my indoor, well, the compressor has gone out on hot limit, so we're low on Freon. Getting to find our leak. I got our indoor wet bulb at 75.7. Going to take our outdoor dry bulb. Now you want to do this in the shade, and this is the ambient temperature of what's going into the unit. So we're going 99.5. I hit enter. That'll lock us in, and that gives us our target superheat of 27.3. Now to switch to our unit. It's fairly cold, but the compressor had turned off, and the compressor is hot. It's cold at the moment, but since we've got our readings, we know what our target superheat should be. We can measure and see where we're at. So we're not far off, I don't think, because the line is cold. It's just a good rule of thumb when it's this hot, when it's over 100 degrees or when it's 100 degrees, that the suction line will be cold to the touch. This one's cold, but it could be a little colder, I think. So I'm going to hook up our clamp. You want it vertical. You want to take a reading from the side of the pipes. Your refrigerants can exist in two states, gas and liquid. As you take it from horizontal, your temperature might be reading liquid or it might be reading gas. By setting them vertical, you know that you're going to be reading a mixture of what's in the system. Okay, so here goes our high side clamp. Gives us our temperatures. This I'm going to move a little closer to the suction port. Now looking at our capacitor, looks pretty tired. Looks really tired. And it may just be that we're out of phase there and that our unit didn't start because we're out of phase. So I don't know that our refrigerant is off at the moment. It may actually just be that capacitor lost its phase and we need a new capacitor. And looking at how tired that one is, probably just going to replace that one on general principle. I mean, that thing is looking tired. Our contactor looks good. Our wiring looks good. And now we're going to hook up our gauges to make sure our unit's off and make sure our gauges are closed. Make sure our gauges are turned on. So our low side, the suction side, that's the larger size pipe. High side, smaller size pipe. Take off our Schrader ports. Looking for any leaks. Listen for any leaks. A lot of times the leak will have an oily residue. The refrigerant has some oil in it, and that'll leave a bit of a residue. The pipe's on there pretty tight. So the Schrader valve. I don't hear any leaks there. I don't see any leaks there. Got the little gasket there. See some oil residue on that. And I hear a little bit of something and see a little residue there. So that's suspect. That is the suspect at the moment. Boy, R22 is being phased out, as many of you know, and the price is getting spendy. Right now I'm paying $453 for a 30-pound jug of R22. My systems take about 6 pounds. See, our pressure is low. Really, we probably usually see this around 68 on the PSI, so we're low on refrigerant. Make sure these are tight. We're going to hook up our high side. And the high side gives us a much more accurate measurement than the low side. But the low side's a good indicator too. Alright. Yeah, we're definitely low. Okay, so I'm going to purge both sides. We're just pushing the air out. The worst thing for refrigerant is to get mixed with air. Air has non-condensables that we keep moisture in the air, which you can see there's a lot of moisture in the air today. It's a very humid day. It's about 100 degrees out right now. Real feel though is probably more like 110, 115, something along those lines. Here's our tank, JB, and all you guys that make refrigerant hoses, it'd be nice if you include a straight yellow hose. So us service guys don't have to fight with the box here. That just slows us down. If I wanted to get slowed down, I've got a lunch. Come back, I'll be slower. We're going to purge the refrigerant from right here. That's getting rid of all the air, and now we're ready to charge. Definitely low on Freon. You can hear how thirsty. Nice and thirsty. Now our target superheat is 27.3. We're going to monitor this, and we're going to stop about 2 degrees before we reach our target superheat, so that when we recover the refrigerant from our high side hose, try to hit that target right on the dot. I kind of covered that in my other video, Operation Target Superheat. Anyway, we get a reading when you turn it off, so we're raising our PSI up, and let's see what our superheat is right now, 62. Oh, we need to bring that down for sure. Give it some gas, give myself some water before I'm losing all my water to sweat. Bloody hot today. You gotta take precautions, wear a hat, and all that good stuff. Wear sunblock, drink lots of water. It's the heat is brutal, and you want to go the distance. So, safety glasses, gloves to prevent frostbite. I like these disposable gloves. They're easy to throw away. They do make you sweat a bit, but it's still keep you from getting frostbite, as the refrigerant won't penetrate. I use 2 pairs of gloves, and that really does the trick. Okay, our superheat's coming down. We've still got a ways. Just as a rule of thumb, I like to see my PSI on the low side to be about 68 degrees. 68 pounds of pressure. PSI, pounds per square inch. Anyway, you get the idea. A nice, beautiful Palm Springs day. It's humid. It's free sauna today. Free sauna for everybody. If you're here, come and get your free sauna. It's hot. Of course, the other thing to make sure is your hatch didn't come open inside for the indoor blower. Make sure the filter's clean. All those things are going to have an effect on your superheat and on your system cooling. This one, I haven't had a leak on this one in years, so I think it's from the strainer valve. So I'm just going to go with that for now. And maybe in the future I'll have to leak test it, but for now I gotta survive. So it's always good to find those leaks first, especially being the price of refrigerant these days, as I was telling you, but you gotta survive too. So you see our target superheat starting to get closer. Still a ways to go. 46. Alright. And you can also hear when I'm charging it. Remember when I first charged it, you can hear how thirsty it was? And then now it's starting to get like, oh, I'm getting fuller. I don't know if I want to drink any more refrigerant. That R22 is spandy. I don't know if I want more. Yeah, you do, buddy. Just gotta keep you cool. If you have capillary tube system at your evaporator. That's your restriction device. As the refrigerant goes through, it makes a smaller holes for it to pass through, whether it's a piston or if it's any other kind of fixed orifice, a capillary tube system. It reduces the size that the refrigerant has to pass through. When that happens, it makes the refrigerant change state, and then it absorbs heat. And then on the flip side, the condenser, everything opens up to more lines, and that again changes state so it can give off the heat into the outside. The air conditioner works backwards how we think it works. It actually removes heat from inside, just like a refrigerator removes heat from inside the freezer and then blows it outside of the cabinet. Same with the air conditioner. Removes heat from inside the dwelling, gets rid of it outside. I'm surprised we don't recycle that heat when we heat our water, but it is what it is. Alright, 44 on our superheat, still a ways. Now what's happening is our refrigerant is getting a lot slower as these pressures, the compressor's pushing and making that pressure, but because the compressor is so hot, it's not able to charge as fast. And one way we can speed it up is either put some ice or some cold water on the compressor, and as that cools it down, it'll help it draw in the refrigerant a little bit faster. And again, ice can help. You can see how fast that water is coming off, and it's evaporating, which is good because evaporation, just like at the evaporator, is where stuff gives off its heat. When we sweat and the wind or whatever hits that and the sweat starts to evaporate, that's our body's way of giving off heat, so keeping us at a reasonable temperature, at least in theory. That's hard to do out here when it gets so hot, but that's what's keeping us, helping keep us alive. This one's showing our subcool is also in a reasonable place. So that's good. Both sides of our system is working. You don't have a clog anywhere. Our refrigerant's flowing like it should through the system. Let's take a look again. Boy, we still got a ways. As I say, it's getting slower and slower for it to take the refrigerant. One thing I need meaning to discuss with you guys is you don't see me charge by liquid much, and a lot of you guys have been, hey, why don't you flip the Freon tank over? Well, just to explain there, the liquid can damage your compressor, and it's very easy for the liquid to damage the compressor. The pistons just aren't that strong. It just is what it is. Charging by vapor is much safer, and you're also charging a little bit slower. If you do charge by liquid, like with R410, it's a blend of refrigerants, R410A, you have to charge by liquid in order to keep those blends mixed. But you need a special valve on the deal that prevents it from damaging your compressor. You can meter it in, and you can do it that way just by going slowly, little by little, and letting a little bit in. But really, you want this special little valve. I'll have to show you guys that in another video. I'll show you the valve that you use for charging by liquid. It's just a little fitting that you fit on before your hoses, and that'll keep your compressor and your installs alive a lot longer. I've got these old Goodman units. They're like 30 years old, and they're still going, which is my camera just quit. It couldn't take the heat. So we're gonna have to switch it up a little bit. Thank goodness it's got the GoPro, yeah. And that helped. Anyway, yeah, I need that little device that'll let you charge by liquid, and then it won't be as likely to damage the compressor. Here it is. So let's see. Yeah, it's bloody hot. My camera couldn't take it. What are you going to do? 29 2P, that's where we want to stop right there. 28.8, as I was explaining earlier. We're going to recover the refrigerant that's in our hose, and that's going to finish the job for us so that we hit our target superheat. just right. Now you could be within 5 degrees and you're okay, but I like to aim in right for it. So look, we're right at it. And if I have another job, I could just save the refrigerant in there. I actually might do that on this one because we're at our target superheat, and I'm probably going to get another call, you know. So it is what it is. R22. So I'm going to quit there. We're 1 degree off of our superheat. That's looking great. Our suction line, nice and cold. And we can scroll through here to our pressures. Here's our virtual saturation temperature. That's the temperature of the indoor evaporator coil. Ideally, that'll be like 40 degrees. This is perfect. You know, water freezes at 32 degrees. We don't want it to freeze, so being just above freezing, you know, is good. And you want it, you know, around 40. That's looking good. Anyway, again, there was our indoor wet bulb, our outdoor dry bulb, and our target superheat. And there's our superheat right now, 26.8. Beautiful. Okay, so I've got a tool, I believe, for tightening the Schrader valve. So I'm going to try that. See if we can stop a little bit of a leak that I think was there. I have a Schrader core removal tool here in my bag. And anyway, here goes the fun. We're going to disconnect our hoses. We're going to turn off our gauge. And if I would have caught this sooner, I would have gone ahead and recovered the refrigerant in the high side hose, but I didn't, and I don't want to mess up the charge, so disconnect our high side. I've had a few rounds with these where the whole thing blew out, so it's always kind of, you gotta be ready for anything with this stuff. You're working with high pressures and high voltage, and hi everybody back home. All right. So there's our cap on the high side. You want to avoid over tightening these. Just real strong finger tight is good. It can mushroom the ends, and when it does, if you ever have to replace the Schrader valve, you can be in for a nightmare. If that end gets mushroomed in when you try to pull your Schrader valve out with a tool, a lot of times it'll hang up there and you won't be able to get it out. Anyway, here's now our high side, or low side. Oh, there's our leak. You hear it? You hear it. So I'm going to tighten it down. Tight. And it's just kind of leaking out. So I'm going to try to press it and get the valve to stop. That is our leak right there. So I'm going to put my Schrader valve on. I don't know if you can hear it, but yeah, there we go. So we're going to see if I can recover it instead. We didn't leak much on the suction side, so what's good is that can help us, we'll probably be right at our target superheat now. Yeah. Hopefully I have another Schrader valve in my bag. Oh shoot. Not. I lost my little wheel. Oh boy. Well, before I get all crazy, which is too late for that, I'm going to see if I can even remove the old one. And if I can, then I can close it off here and go and grab a new one. These I'm just putting pressure in and then turning it out, feeling for it to be turned out all the way. Hey, the good news is we found our leak. And I'm hoping I don't have any bad news for you. But it's going to be tricky. Now, cutting off the refrigerant flow, we're going to see if hopefully our deal's on the end of our, no, if I didn't get it. I've not had very good luck with these recently. Get a lot of those seals have been capped off so tight that the end is bent, and so it makes it really hard to recover the strainer valve this way. Probably just going to have to put it back in and try to cap it. Let's see if it's on the end. Nope. Sometimes it can blast it out, so I'm going to try that. So I'm going to have to be ready for it to shoot off. And okay. It's going to be a little loud. Oh, it didn't even shoot out at all. Oh, it's not good. Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and try to put it back in then. Not much I can do. I've got the unit working. I'm going to cap it off. See what I got to do. Again, it didn't leak for a long time, so I did find my leak as well. That's all you can do is all you can do. Okay, I got it tightened back in. Here's hoping. Yay! Alright. At least it's back in there. You know, and it's leaking now. So, to follow up on this one in the future. Making sure we got our gasket in there. Down and get off this roof before I run out of moisture. It's humid. Alright. And I'm just going to barely tighten that down a little bit more. And kind of pour a little water. I don't have any soap water, but we can just kind of see if there's any obvious bubbles, and I think we're okay. Okay, our unit's charged up. We're nice and cold. You can see how humid it is today. Look at all the sweat in the suction line. All right. Anyway, thanks for watching Compressor Maintenance. Over and out. Again, probably be a good idea to check the capacitance on that capacitor and maybe replace that capacitor. It just looks really bad. So, thanks for watching Compressor Maintenance. Over and out. I show that so many times, I don't think you guys need to see me replace another capacitor, but anyway. Also, should secure this dangling capacitor as well, so that's another deal. All right, thanks for watching. Got our new capacitors all in, changed out. We'll take the old one back to the shop and test it, but I just thought it's better to change it just for preventative maintenance sake. That sucker looked like it was ready to go. And we could check the 5 as well, but it had a little 5 on there, but that was the right size. And kind of better cable tied it up. That way it's not in the box. It'll just build up heat inside it, and then it can't really shed that heat. The box is an insulator, so all right. All right, there it is. Everything working, and the fan motor is spinning the correct way. Good to go. Yeah, so the heat must have gotten to me. I don't know how I missed it when I was there. You've heard of the Run Cap Bandit. Well, this one's the Hard Start Kit Bandit. Anyway, no big deal. Sometimes some things come back on camera and you see them, and which is good because then I can make it right.
no big deal. Can go back and anchor the hard start kit, so it's not just hanging there. No big deal. But anyway, yeah, I hear a lot of guys talk about the run cap bandit and the capacitor hanging there, and well, yeah, that's not a perfect situation, but seriously, if you're working in the field, you should expect that that's going to happen somewhere, that someone's going to do that, because the reality is that people do that, and they shouldn't. They should become better at what they do, better techs, and learn better, and use cable ties or use plumber strap or another method to anchor capacitors. But the reality is that that's always going to be a factor. Someone's going to do that, and so you kind of have to be prepared for that. Be forward thinking and looking ahead, and realize that somewhere, somebody's going to do that, put a capacitor in the wrong place. So you kind of got to pull the disconnect before taking the lid off, and take extra precautions and all the kinds of things that you need to do, understanding that people out there are going to do crazy things. So anyway, we can all become better at what we do, and hopefully, there's less and less of that happening. Anyway, on this one was the hard start kit bandit. Oh well, no big deal. I'll explain and develop things better, and that'll be that. Make things better in the future.
Got lots of water, but that's not what this story is about. Microfarad test on both of these. So here's our fan. It should be a 5 microfarad. 4.96. It's actually still good. And this one's a 35, and it's showing bad. It's not even registering. Should be picking it up. So that was the right call to change that one out. We're good to go. You could just see the bulging in the top. And anyway, preventative maintenance, even this one, I'm not charging anybody for parts or anything, but I don't think whatever it was, $4, even if it was upsold a little bit, I don't think anyone would get too upset to not have a no AC call, especially in this kind of weather and temperature. Anyway, drink lots of water, stay safe out there.